Hello, this is Ryan Woodward recording a little demo and video of Lab 4 Part 1, and this is the second part of Part 1. This is for Intel's Digital Logic course through FPGA Academy. And in this lab, what we needed to build was an 8-bit counter, a synchronous counter, although admittedly mine is asynchronous. Um, but we needed to build that 8-bit counter, and it had to have 7 segment displays leveraged, and it needed to leverage T flip-flops, which are essentially JK flip-flops with the J and K inputs tagged as the same input itself. And from the previous video, there isn't much change. I have added a BCD to 7 segment decoder file, and if you've seen any of my previous videos in this playlist, you'll recognize this BCD to 7 segment decoder right away. It's the same exact one I've been using for all references to the 7 segment displays on the DE10 light board. The T flip-flop has not changed at all, and the only thing, there are a few changes actually. I've added these two outputs to 2 hex displays on the DE10 light, and we can see if we scroll below that I've added another component declaration to the 7 segment decoder code. And then finally below that we have a single port mapping here where we declare where we set those LEDs, which are Q0 to 7, but because this 7 segment decoder only has a 4-bit input, I just send 0 to 3, and we see the hex displays here, and the pin assignments are all done properly. I've never actually showed the pin planner, I think, but this is what that would look like here. We've had to declare them this way. And excluding that, there are no major changes to the code. It's that because the counter was working, and for whatever reason it seems to be working actually properly. Most of the errors seem to have gone away. I'm not sure where in the process I debugged them or fixed them, admittedly, but they seem to be gone for the time being. And the only unfortunate thing I have to admit is I have not written this circuit for part 1 in Verilog. And I'm not sure I will get to that because I've spent many hours already just on part 1, and I'd like to continue moving along at a fairly rapid pace through these courses. So I may not get to Verilog, which frankly it's probably not that difficult to take this code and transcribe it to Verilog in and of itself. But I will attach a brief demo video to this, and that will be it for this one. Thank you. Alright, this is Lab 4, Part 1, and this is Part B, I guess we'd say. It's the second part of the first portion of the lab. And this is where we actually have the full 8-bit counter. We leverage the 7-segment displays, and I think that was the only part we needed to add. We see that we have the T switch enabled here. Reset is just adjacent to it. Clock is this top button. And my LEDs are still counting. They're upside down to us now, but they'll be counting in this direction. And the hex displays will show us up to 10, I believe, at this point. I don't bother to go much higher than that. Because that's proof enough for me that the circuit actually works. So we'll start counting. Alright, and then I will show that the reset button actually works. Alright, and that is it for this demo. Thank you.